Never been on time.
We're never on time.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
was reading some of the comments.
Hey, Samantha, I thought you were talking about us because we're never on time. We always try to get on there real quick.
We made it tonight.
Did we?
We did.
Yeah, 8:01. We actually did make pretty good time.
All the things acres. How are you? Wesley, Samantha, Rehab Life, Charlotte, how are y'all?
I thought you should have kept your war paint on.
I have natural war paint, but it's right here. It's called bags.
Hey, my homestead, what's up, man?
It's called a 4.5-month-old that likes to get up through the night.
My homestead, I like your pictures that you're doing on Facebook. The Purina pictures with the pigs and all. That looks really good. Hey, Miss Diana, how are you doing? Grammy Karen.
Hope you guys have had a pretty good week.
Josie. Stacy, Miss Marie.
Hey, Miss Stacy, did you get any more turkeys? I had 2 hatch this morning from my next batch I was expecting. I've got 2 out. Did you get any more?
LG Homestead, how are you, man? Yeah, your pigs are very pretty, Mamba Homestead. They really are. They look really nice. The pictures really do justice too. So mine look good when they're in like the woods, and then all of a sudden, like when they tear the place up today when it's been raining.
Oh, she only got 1 of her turkeys out of those eggs. I can't remember if she got 4 or 6, but she only got 1 turkey. I hate that. I had
Hey, Jen.
My batch due to hatch this morning. 2 come out this morning. So I'm going to give them a few more days and see if we can get any more because I had 6 eggs in there.
All right, y'all. Welcome, LG. This is one of his first times on our live, so thank you very much.
Yes.
Hey, all the things acres. She likes our war paint. Hey, that was like organic makeup, so it probably cost about $2 for each stripe, huh?
Oh, right. Well, I do like to use makeup that is cleaner.
That was a joke.
But I do use from the Honest Company is one of the companies I like to use. It's a cleaner makeup. Product. Yeah, so.
New subscriber, Southern Belle. Thank you. Welcome from Houston. Well, welcome to Mississippi. LG Homestead, we did our thumbnail had war paint on, so we'll get into that in just a little bit. I feel like we're in war with everything with our farm.
Kinda. You know, this is the kind of year when things start warming up and all the critters start coming out.
Yeah. And of course, you can't forget the video. I feel like we wanted to kill our cow the other day, or our steer, running around like crazy. Misty was actually really mad. I really think she was.
I was flustered.
She was flustered.
Because he was acting like a total
lunatic. He was not as bad as Sizzle. If y'all watch some of our old videos, he was no Sizzle.
Well, he did try to go through the barbed wire fence, but he stopped when it cut him up a little bit.
Southern Belle's from Mississippi.
Oh, awesome. Good. But he was just running around acting crazy. So the gist of the video was Tara. He
Ashley
is like a year and a half. Isn't he like a year and a half now?
He would be. No, he's not that old. He's probably 9 months, 9 or 10 months.
Okay, but he's been weaned off from his mom for a really, really, really long time. We brought him even from another farm. We purchased him as a steer to bring on our farm from another local farm. And he was, after our Hereford had her baby, he started nursing off her. Well, we caught him in the act and realized, what is he doing? So we would go try to chew him off, and he just kept going back. And
really, so this was our Jersey. I probably wouldn't worry as much because Jersey can give tons of milk. Right. But this Hereford doesn't give just tons. She was a first-time heifer, so she's not giving tons of milk.
Right. So that can create several problems. He's draining our mama cow, which is not good on her health, and he's stealing from the baby. You're talking about a big old manly steer who's got a moo
Brahma steer.
Moo.
One more time. What was that?
Moo.
I don't think you can get as deep
as he can. No, I'm telling you, this big old beast of a boy I'm talking about, and he wants to nurse on the mama cow. Burns me up anyway. Well,
she's gonna like eating that burger.
He is stealing from our baby too, which means our baby is not getting as much milk as he should, is gonna. Oh, is it Rosie's mama?
Yeah,
I was thinking it was Sonny's mama.
It's Rosie.
Okay. But anyway, still in the milk. She's a runt as it is. For some reason, I was thinking
Her
that
mama's
it was
smaller.
Sonny's mama. Okay, well, anyway.
Ollie.
So.
Hey, Miss Sue.
She's a runt. Rosie's a runt anyway.
Which her mom's small. She's a small person.
She was born a little bit smaller, but still, he shouldn't be stealing all the baby's milk, which can create multiple problems. So we had decided to pull him out and move him, and he lost his mind. I'm talking about he went nuts. It was terrible. Then he goes all up in the woods. Colby's chasing him in the woods, and it's flooding on us.
It is literally flooding.
And we're chasing this cow everywhere, and he's acting like lunatic. So, I was a little flustered.
And he didn't go in like the pig pasture pines, like where it's easy to kind of walk through. He goes in like to the dense swamp pines,
where it's like so
you can't
thick.
walk through there. I mean, it's terrible.
And we finally just backed off and let him come out, and we got him to where he wanted to go. But that's a long story for another video.
He was crazy. He was crazy. And I think all it is the, cow's a herd animal and it's a follower. So whereas Allie, like when we're separating Allie at night and we show that sometimes she's easy. She'll just come on out, and so will Josie. And really some of the other ones, like Kristoff was used to it. However, Petey has never really done well without some cow leading him. And so I think it was just like association loss. I mean, and plus, like Misty said in the video, we took him away
with him.
Yeah, but we took him away from a very far area that they were not used to. So we put him in the sheep pasture.
Never
we probably
been back there.
Rethought that.
I wish that we could have
Hey, Miss Irene.
We put the camera up. We thought, well, this is not going to be too bad. We got him back here. Blah blah blah. As soon as we turned our backs, he jumped like a bunny. Right over that fence. We thought, oh no. Then that's when we started chasing him all in the woods, and it was something.
One good thing is
I was very flustered with
one good thing is that where we put them, we're gonna do that again, but we're gonna do it with all of the cows other than our jerseys. I couldn't get that out.
I was gonna say, you better not take Allie all the way down there. You'll have like a 15-minute walk to go get her.
That's across 35 acres, so it's a little too hard to do that. Hey, Perfect Pastures. Hey, Bryce. What's up, man? Glad to see you too, man. Glad to see you too, Billy.
Yes. After it's all over with, it will be. I mean,
I know,
it will be worth it. But
I thought for sure Missy's like. I mean, when she was saying that about we're loading him up right now, she was really being serious. I was thinking, hey, I'm like.
I was flustered. I will admit to that because I did not want to be chasing a cow off in the woods because we were having to load him up. I mean, because I cannot read and talk at the same time.
I know I shouldn't have shown. I showed her a comment. And
I read it. I was like, "Who said that?" So I was trying to do too much. I don't even know what I was saying, but I was flustered. I was flustered.
But did y'all see how good those pigs loaded?
Woo-hoo. Yeah, they were
awesome. They'll probably get out tonight because it's not been sunny and their charger's like down to nothing. So I'll probably be chasing pigs at midnight tonight.
Hopefully not. They know where they get fed, so they'll come back.
True. And we've been giving them a lot of milk.
But it still makes you a little nervous. I mean, you still get a little nerve-wracking. Like when they get out, you're like, okay, they're going to come back because they're going to come to the feed. But it's still very nerve-wracking that one of them, you're scared that either one of them's going to run off or something's going to get them or, whatever. It still makes you a little nerve-wracking.
We're running 15 pigs right now. That's crazy. Yeah. I never thought we'd be at 15 pigs. It all kind of happened at once.
Yeah.
And they're all bigger pigs. The smallest ones are those.
And thank you about the soap comment. I did see that. So I'm glad you guys love it.
Hey, Miss Tammy, how are you? That's right. They did. They did get some soap. So, what kind did you give them?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Was it eucalyptus?
I don't remember.
I can't remember. I don't know what my favorite is. I think eucalyptus is probably my favorite because it suds up real well.
I like
peppermint. I can't do peppermint. Makes me feel too cool. I feel like I need to go take a hot bath.
It's considered a hot oil, so it will leave your skin feeling
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. LG Homestead, we're from Southwest Mississippi. So we're about an hour below our capital and about 2 or 3 hours above New Orleans.
Yep.
So what Misty was talking about with the war, I feel like, when we start here in the spring of Mississippi, we're usually smoking hot and it's a lot of rains and a heavy, heavy humidity. So
Hey, little feet.
we're always battling some kind of creature, and it's really dealing with our gardens more than anything. So we're not really dealing with, like coyotes or anything like that, because our great, our great pretties is doing a phenomenal job. But we deal with just, critters, creatures, slugs, snails, squirrels, everything. So Misty's been like DE and everything. And not only
I
that,
forgot Piper got some too.
What else? What else did you put on those? Just DE, right?
When?
Like, what else did you put around everything to try to keep the slugs, snails, and everything away?
I had just been putting DE, but tonight I did something different.
What'd you do?
I have been saving all of the eggshells, and by the time I got to the bottom, I was like,
"Hey, Carrie, Mindy."
I almost had to film it because it was so nasty. I've been saving my eggshells for like the past several days. Well, when I got to the bottom, they were like smelled like rotten egg. But I have a little grinder, and I put my eggshells in there, and I just like basically ground them up. And
my coffee grinder?
So I washed it. So then I went out to the strawberry beds, and I just took those eggshells, and I just kind of
Miss Darlene,
scattered them throughout the strawberry patch, because I did see a snail and a slug, just one, those are just the ones that I saw in the strawberry patches. So the thing with DE, and I really like DE, but it's like it has rained almost every day here. So if I go out and put DE and then it rains, it's like it turns the powder to nothing. It just kind of like beats it in the ground. And then I'm out there having to do it again. So I have always been told use the eggshells, you use the eggshells. I just never have. So this past week, I have been saving all of my eggshells. Instead of putting them in compost, I've been putting them on the in a little bowl beside my stove.
It's not eggy though. Somebody asked how it tastes. Use egg crusher in my coffee grinder.
I did your coffee before I did the eggs.
She does herbs too, and like red pepper flake. So she better wash it good, or it might take the taste away from my coffee.
Anyway, so I just took those eggshells and spread them throughout. I think that's going to help definitely with the slugs and the snails.
Hey, Miss Dorothea.
So I'm because those are, of course, getting my strawberries, but I'm pretty sure we either have a rabbit,
Miss Joy,
or a squirrel coming to nibble on.
Hey, Lori. Yeah, so we're actually, our raised beds, I'll be honest with you, to me this year has not been as bad because we cut some of the trees that were behind, like where our original strawberries beds had a lot of trees behind it. So we tended to have a lot more squirrels. But where they're at now, we really hadn't had a ton of, I'd say we hadn't had a ton of damage. But we're almost not allowing them to go fully red.
That's not a bad idea to have a second one, but I'd really rather keep that money and just wash it well.
I should be like, we won't wash it.
Eggshells for the bugs. Eggshells I used tonight I've done this before, but it's been years ago. So the eggshells are really sharp. So when I grind them up, even though they're smaller, they're really, really sharp. And when I spread them out, when those soft body creatures crawl over those eggshells, it will literally slice them open. And it takes a few days, but it will literally cause them to dehydrate because they're split open. But it's very annoying when I go out and half of my strawberries have been nibbled all over from critters. And I also took a scarecrow out and put it on the tree side. And what else did you see what I hooked to the scarecrow? Some aluminum foil. Yeah. I ran a big, huge sheet.
Kind of like itchy.
A big, huge sheet of aluminum foil I tied to the suspenders of my scarecrow so that when the wind blew, it would make that noise. And I'm hoping that will.
It scared me to death the other day. I was doing something at the pool, and it was like.
I'm
Scare me.
hoping that will help keep the critters out too. I did that several days ago, but because we've had just like storms, I went
Torrential
out there
rain.
today. My scarecrow was like laid over on the ground. So when I went out to do my eggs tonight, I stood him back up and put his little 8-10 apron back on.
We didn't lose an animal, nothing that serious, but we had this rain that we got last night was crazy, and we had like a little issue happen at the farm. So we'll have a video on that coming up too.
Thankfully, everything was okay.
Everything's okay, but it was a very unique thing. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like it
I was
before.
gonna say something I've never seen before.
No rehab life, we do it too. It's good for calcium.
What do slugs do? We don't see them in Arizona. Yeah, it's probably because y'all are so dry and hot, and they
we're in a
like
humid area.
very moist. And even though we're in a hot and humid area, our lands are just low where we hold a lot of water. They will nibble on your strawberries, go through them, eat holes.
Hey, Kentucky Widow Woman.
They just ruin your fruit, kind of like I guess a worm would, an apple. The snails and the slugs do the same thing. So by throwing the crushed egg out everywhere, when they slither over them, it will cut them open. It will kill them.
See, that's cool. That's not far from us too. I saw a few comments from people that's close to Mississippi.
Slugs
So
leave
that's
a
good.
snot trail. Yes, they do. Or snot trail. Yes, they do, and it's disgusting.
True rehab life. Here's the thing though. If you're feeding, like I have a lot of friends who they'll gross by their chicken feed, and so what they'll do is they'll buy chick starter because chick starter is more high protein, and also it goes for both chicks and chickens. If you're doing that, just remember to keep your eggshells because they will need calcium to actually make eggs. So a lot of times instead of doing a calcium layer pellet, they'll do just simply the crumble from chick starter and then add calcium through the layer pellets, and they'll eat it. Or oyster shells.
They are eating my strawberries. I worked very hard to grow. So I don't really want to share with the slugs and the snails. They can go eat something else, but not my strawberries. But our blueberries are looking good. They're getting big and round and plump, but they are not quite blue yet. We will actually be able to pick blueberries probably in about 3 weeks. So I'm excited about that.
Hey, Beth. Donna says, poke a few of those little wind propeller things in the ground. They'll twirl around and scare spirits away.
I thought about that, but I need to go to the dollar store to get those.
Grammy Karen, so far, fingers crossed, we don't have a lot of bird damage on our blueberries because we pick them so quick.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, we did not get a good harvest because of the birds.
Because of the bird. Yeah, right. But I'm talking about for the most part, we don't really have bird issues. Not saying we won't cover them because if we have to, we have a.
But I also got a cat.
Cover. Yeah, our cat does well.
And he's killed a bird. And he's killed a bunch of mice.
He's been
vigilante.
But you know how you make.
And he's killed frogs.
You know how you make cats do that? You don't overfeed them or don't feed them any extra food because then they are like.
If you feed your cat so much where they're so fat they can hardly walk, your cat's not going to get any rats. Well, for one thing, he's not going to have that drive in him, and two, he's going to be so fat he can't get it.
Little Mountain Life, what's so funny? As I said, I was going to try that, so I got it out and did the little thing, and every time I slid it up to 400 meters, it would tell me. I was above the limit of the
air. Y'all are talking about the drone?
Of the, air radius, traffic control stuff, whatever that means. And then it would take me back down. So I got to do a little bit more reading to try to stay up and keep it up. I don't know why it's doing that.
Deanna, that is one of the very reasons we do not let our chickens free range. We actually have a set of Freedom Rangers that we do not like. But because they can escape out of anything, y'all, I swear they're crazy, and they keep killing each other. And another one,
they will. They're like ferocious.
They
raptors.
Kill each other, y'all. They're crazy. If we can tell y'all, if some of y'all may have most wonderful experience with Freedom Rangers, but we have had a horrible experience with Freedom Rangers. In our opinion, they have been terrible, awful. I hate the breed. I will never own one again. We pulled another Freedom Ranger out of the pen that they're in. I had to separate them from my hens because they killed 3 of my hens. They've killed 2 of their own hens, and then I just pulled another rooster. I pulled all the hens out and separated them so they would quit killing my hens. Now they've killed another rooster. I mean, it's like, y'all, they are crazy. The roosters are nuts. They are nuts.
Piper and LaToya, actually in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from Saturday, we're going to be butchering Cornish cross and also the Freedom Ranger. So we're going to be butchering about 60 birds that day. So that will be a long day, but we'll process that day.
But I said all that to say, before we could keep them in, before we finally figured out how to keep them in, they had gotten out and destroyed all of our lettuce last year. We had no fall anything, no harvest of fall anything.
Yeah, we like the Cornish cross. So we wanted to try the Freedom Rangers.
We don't let them free range,
but we just like the Cornish cross. They do so much better. They really do.
Scratch your mulch out, poop all over your porch. They do eat bugs, but it's like they want to eat bugs where they're not supposed to eat bugs.
With the Freedom Rangers?
Just chickens free ranging in general.
True. We let them free. We let a set of ours that's going to be free range, especially in the pasture, but we net them.
Right.
So that way they're freedom ranging only when we want them to freedom range.
Right. But I don't just open the pen and let them have at it because they would destroy everything.
Yes, they would. And we have a lot. Everything we have is almost edible landscape. So chickens know that, and they'll eat it all.
And but I do. I pick them oregano. I pick them rosemary. I pick them grass sometimes. There are several herbs I go out and pick them. Like tonight, I had some leftover lavender that I picked, and some of it was kind of not as pretty and purple as I wanted, so I threw the lavender over there into them. So the ones that are in their permanent coops, our layers that we keep very protected, that they kind of like freedom range because
we give them a lot.
Pick for them and give them to them. So it's not like eating slugs,
right? And that's kind of like ours. It's like
Matt and Sarah, how are y'all?
We actually talked about even with our pigs. Our pigs are in the forest, and they eat so much off the ground and under the trees. We're actually supposed to start bringing their feed back just a little bit, because they really do a lot of living on the grounds, and which is what we like.
Tammy said, I have lost several hens to buffalo gnats this year. Made my girls hurt each other trying to get the gnats.
I've never heard of that. Yeah.
Does DE not help, or do they have a place? Do you give them a DE
bath, a dust bath?
That's what I was gonna say. Do they have a place where they can get a good dust bath? And if so, put some DE and stuff down in that dirt and let them. They will literally like open up their wings and like lay on their side and flop around in that dirt.
Tim says we are loving the Freedom Rangers. Yeah, I even kept some for layers. That was our main purpose, Tim.
It was.
But ours, I think we got a bad batch.
The roosters are just nuts. There's no other way to say it. They're just crazy.
I agree.
They are literally crazy. We had a crazy Egyptian breed one time. My husband and father-in-law practiced.
They're hitting shots on this crazy. I get to a point where like I dread processing in 2 weeks, but once I'm done and I get like fully done and they're in the freezer, I'm like, oh man, it's so nice because there's not 3 or 4 different pens of chickens, and I don't know.
Can you let chickens out around trees? Yes, but if there's nothing low for them to get. Like I would say blueberries, like somebody mentioned earlier, or something like a fruit tree that's got low fruit, I probably would not. However, if you do let them out around your trees that doesn't have like mulch and stuff like that they're going to get in and scratch out, they are going to help because they're going to eat a lot of the grass, a lot of the bugs that may be around the tree, but then they're also going to fertilize that ground in that area, and that will help the tree grow.
You can use wood ash, Donna. That's not a problem. I would mix some DE with it because that's what it's made for. Wood ash we always use in our compost, or we'll actually put even in some of the garden areas. How are the cows? The cows are doing great. Bohannon, the rental bull, is going on his 3rd week. So I'm ready to see some cows in heat this
All
week.
Things Beautiful Homestead says, I free range my chicken about 3 years ago, and before I knew it, they had eaten 52 strawberry plants.
There would be some dead chickens.
I would have died because we started out with 75, but because they've multiplied so much, we probably have about 125 now, don't we?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
We have they probably almost doubled. So anyway, we have a lot too, but I would die because strawberries, blueberries,
Or our
and
go-to.
plums are kind of like our main fruit around here.
Sue Bass, can you tell me if it's too late to plant peas and cabbage in 6B? I'm way behind with my husband passing. Well, so sorry about your husband passing,
Yes,
Miss Sue.
very, very sorry about that.
For 6B, you may not be too late for peas. I don't think you're too late for peas, depending on what kind of peas. If you're talking about snow peas or winter peas, you may not be too late. I think you'd be late on the cabbage. The cabbage is it's a brassica, so it does, or brassica, excuse me. It does grow quick, but I don't know your temperature. I know 6B is definitely cooler than us, but like all our lettuces and all that are bolting. We're to a point where we can't grow any kind of brassicas right now.
Susan says, when I let my chickens free range, they are on my porch and swing more than I am. And that's one of the reasons why we don't let ours out, because I don't want them up here pooping on my porch. And it's like, if they would just stay in the yard and eat the bugs, that would be great. But they eat everything else and they like to chill on the porch. When we first moved in the house, the free range was kind of I wouldn't say we opened the gate. They would fly over the pen and free range themselves.
Stacy,
and we didn't like that.
Stacy, do you have any advice on what to use on a seeping pond? Are you talking about like a true leaking pond? If you are, and you're not, you can dump gravel and things like that. But I've seen people use bentonite clay, buy a big load of bentonite clay, and that does help pack. Tim, hey, there you go, Tim. There, he said the same thing I said. Bentonite clay does work good. You can buy it. It is more expensive than just buying like gravel, but it tends to grow. I mean, it tends to pack in tighter, and that kind of that leads us into a video
I don't know how I missed you.
that we've got coming up too. Not holding everywhere, Stacy. I would definitely try bentonite clay. That's exactly what I would use. If it looks like that's not holding it, your only option is to get pressure off your dam and rebuild and repack some of your places. Hope that doesn't happen, but I mean that would be the next step. But bentonite clay, other than gravel, would probably be the best.
I love
option.
people commenting on here to Miss Sue. That's
Yeah, definitely.
just part of that lovely
you,
community that we love to see. People come alongside each other, pray for each other, and that's so great. It's a great thing.
We sure will, Miss Mariah. Miss Mariah, we'll definitely be praying for that gentleman as well. I'm still growing greens and aquaponics, bok choy, lettuce, and celery, and all things beautiful.
That's awesome.
You definitely in a more colder climate than us. So, what zone are you in? So that will help Miss Sue as well. Hey, Crystal, how are you? I'm glad you're new to our channel. Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Hey, Naked Gardeners. Hank told us about your channel. We called y'all out the other day and then subscribed to y'all. So thank y'all for coming on.
All right, so we talked a little bit about the strawberry things that we were dealing with, but our potatoes.
Yeah,
we have one section.
Yeah, one section
that this stuff has started growing on our potatoes.
Now remember, it's been raining really bad here.
We have not. When I come in today, Colby says, "What is that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We really need to look it up." We have never seen anything like it. It's like some kind of really weird yellow. It looks like volcano eruption. I mean, it
was like
really
a fungus.
weird.
I've never seen anything like it. It almost reminds like a yeast fungus or something.
But it is also spreading. I mean, like it started, then it affected the leaves. Our leaves started turning yellow and started getting dots on them. And then it's like spreading in that bed. So we're going to have to trash that whole bed. But it's like.
Well, the left side under the plum tree seems to be doing okay. It's the right side that's really taking a hit on that raised bed.
But it is spreading.
It will
eventually spread everywhere.
Which it's almost potato harvest time for us. So Naked Gardeners, we have been on Two Families Monday Live before, but it was not anytime soon. It's been a few months.
Several months ago, yeah. We were featured on their live one night, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Rehab Life. If I only knew if this was yeast, I'd be scared to put this in any bread I have.
Yeah. But we do need to look that up. But it's like Colby said, it has been so wet here. I actually was on the phone with
Miss Sue, thank you so very much. That means a lot. Thank you so very much. Evans family, how are you? Call me Teddy. Thank you for coming on. That means a lot, Miss Sue. Thank you so very much.
We were gonna look it up, and I was actually on the phone with somebody today that I had been talking to about her Great Pyrenees puppies that she just got because she's been having coyotes get her calves, and you guys know that Hattie Mae's here, and she does a very good job of protecting the farm. But she called me today and was asking me a question about her puppies. And while I was on the phone with her, she was like, I couldn't even go out to the puppy pen because there's so much water on the ground. I had to put my rain boots on. And she said, that's very unusual for here. And then she was telling me about a friend that lives near her, and their pond dam broke. And we got discussing that, and that just it has been so much water here. So I'm probably thinking because of the amount of rain that we have gotten, maybe that helped contribute to whatever's going on in that bed. We're definitely going to look that up, but it's like definitely between the strawberries and the potatoes, we know that all of the things like the hornworms and all that stuff is coming. Stink bugs, goodness gracious, we've had issues with that before. But it's like getting to be that time of year where things are fixing to get crazy with the bugs. It really has been crazy weather everywhere this year. It seems, Colby and I were talking the other day, it seems like in our area it is warming up, but it's still much cooler than it typically is for our area. Typically in May in Mississippi, you don't walk outside at any point in time without breaking a sweat.
Hey, Miss
In
Landon.
the first week of May, Colby was milking in the mornings, blowing cold smoke.
I'm still doing that. I mean, other than
and that's very, very, very unusual for our area.
Yeah, we
love the short video of Livy eating whipped cream. Yeah, we wanted to see what she would do with that, and she really
that is an Adler Farm shirt. So we did some things with Chad not too long ago.
Yes, this is Adler Farms. I love t-shirts. So if you send me a t-shirt, I'm going to wear it because I like t-shirts.
Let's see. I missed one comment earlier.
It was quite cool tonight. Yes, it was, Stacy. So Stacy lives about 20 minutes south of us, and it's very cool for our area, which is very unusual. Usually in Mississippi, like I said, in May, if you walk out, you're sweating. I mean, that's our weather.
Hey, and tell us if you like the shorts. We've only done 2 shorts. We're not big on it. The only ones we've kind of done is a little quirky, kind of funny or cutesy, just to make you smile, because sometimes we just need a smile every once in a while.
Look up dog vomit slime. That sounds, I'm going to look that up.
That's
right
about
now.
what it looks like, Liberty
sure
Micro Farm.
I'm going to look that up right now.
We tend to not do shorts, but we just kind of thrown it a little bit. But and there's a question earlier about our potato beds. Our potato beds, we do mulching on and barking all in our main gardens, but these are the raised beds, which is the hugelkultur beds.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably
that might be what it is. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. But see, these raised beds are they stay in a very wet area, so we don't put any extra mulch on it. We just compost. But like I said, it's been raining like crazy. So you're probably right. I know it's a fungus, but it's probably this fungus here.
Very common when it's hot and humid.
And that's us.
Irregular mass that creeps. That's why I was saying it looked like an exploding volcano, like a big glob of. I have never ever dealt with this. So I'm gonna have to look and see what we're gonna have to do about that.
Grows in decaying material, and see that's hugelkultur beds.
It is.
So thank you, Liberty Microfarm. We're gonna look into that for sure. We haven't
not a true mushroom or fungus, but grows in irregular patches on mulch, decaying wood, or other rotting plant material. We've never had to deal with this, so this is very unusual.
Very new for us. So thank y'all for this the comments. Y'all help us learn.
Yes, it really does.
Yeah, I heard Grammy Karen. I heard they played Bean Boozled. I don't even want to think about that game, so I'm gonna let y'all have that one. Hey, Rehab Life, we'll try to do that. I hadn't thought about putting instead of doing the link on there, doing the download on Facebook of the shorts. That's a good idea. So I might do that
I
as
wonder,
well.
it just says it's not edible. There are reports that it's eaten in Mexico, but this species is not known to cause sickness in humans, although the dust spores may irritate people with allergies. But if it's on top of the ground and our potatoes are underground, I wonder how that would affect.
I don't know. Let us know what y'all think.
If the spores, when we dig it up, if the spores are on top of the soil and it contaminates the potatoes as they're coming up through the soil. I mean, I don't know. We're going to have to do a lot of research. We noticed it the other day and noticed how it was affecting the leaves on the top.
All right, so All Things Beautiful Homestead says it's a good sign. The dog vomit fungus, a sign that everything is good. Well, it is in a very hugelkultur styled bed, so everything is literally fungus in there. I mean, everything looks like that. That's what
no need
hugelkultur
to
is.
Panic is what this says.
Y'all rock. Thank y'all so much. See, Donna says they're low in Georgia tonight. It's 45. That's crazy. We don't have that kind of weather here. So we're having like 50s and 60s at night for Mississippi. That's crazy. This article
says it's in no way dangerous. Just looks very yucky.
Looks like eggs. I don't think I'm going to eat it, though.
Yeah, I don't think so. But if the potatoes are underground, I'm just going to have to do a lot of research on it before we actually decide what's going to.
Thank y'all for the comments because that does help us know what it is. Those beds
during warm and wet days.
We are very warm and wet. So wet has been an understatement. So how's the ground soaking rain affecting your potatoes? Okay, so Rehab Life, most of our potatoes are in our raised beds because of that reason. We have one set that's actually straight in the ground, but they're in a little bit higher area. They're the ones right by the chicken coop. We built
that bed up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a no-till bed, but it's really higher, almost kind of like a raised bed. Which is not doing the best.
Could eat it.
It's not doing the best. The in-ground garden potatoes are not doing as good as the raised bed gardens potatoes.
It is not dangerous to you, your plants, and it's not harmful to your plants. And it's not harmful to your plants.
Slime Mold Solutions, Mother Earth Garden from Miss Kathy. Thank you, Miss Kathy. Y'all are the best.
I'm going to do a lot of reading before I decide.
Cody says apple cider vinegar sprayed on the plant will take care of almost all fungus and no harm to the plants. We agree with that. I think we use more apple cider vinegar on our farm than most people probably do too.
Yeah, well, that's one of the main things. Look, there it is on tomatoes. Yeah. But their tomatoes still look very healthy. Our tops of ours are yellowing. It
might be having some issues there, which it is getting to the end of the season too. So it could be a little bit of a mixture of wet soil.
And all that. Well, I've done some reading. That makes me feel better. It really does make me feel better. But I'm gonna do my thorough research before we decide what to do.
Rehab Life, you're right. They will rot if they get too wet. One good thing about all the raised beds here, they do tend to because they're hugelkultur and because they're so high off the ground, they tend to the water out pretty good.
But I really like, if y'all are not familiar with hugelkultur, I really like it. I actually did it with my flowers that I planted. And if y'all know me, I'm not a flower planter, babyer.
I agree, Donna.
But this year, I was like, you know what? I want to go get some perennial plants and just put around outside. The bees are going to love them, and just to give some color,
some prettiness,
make it pretty. And I typically do not do that because we spend so much time and energy growing things that we eat, and not things to make your eyes feel special or whatever. But I did say I'm going to do some things. The bees will enjoy it. Yeah. The bees, it'll be bee food too. But I did not buy any annuals. I just could not bring myself to buy something that I knew in a few months was going to die. The ladies that were at the nursery that I was at,
oh my gosh,
I know was probably thinking that this girl's got to leave, because I kept saying, now this is perennial, right? Like, it's going to come back. And I don't know anything about.
We're not big flower people. We probably should
I
call
mean, I
Gina
like
Hamilton.
them. I like them, but I just don't grow a lot of flowers because I don't have time to like deadhead and water
I agree, Carrie,
constantly. So, but I'm going to try to do better this year. I'm actually probably going to give one of the girls a chore to make sure that the soil stays moist, and if it's not, they can water, and that'll be fun for them. They'll enjoy doing that.
We got some squash that's starting to bloom, but now they're starting to really grow. That's what we were hoping for, because ours looked like for the longest they were not growing, but since we kind of mulched around them, they're really looking good now. They really are. Miss Phyllis, yeah, carrots. Last year we had a phenomenal carrot harvest. The year before it's just like and this year hadn't done anything.
It's gonna be
yeah, it's just hadn't done anything. I don't know. We're not big carrot. We're not monster carrot eaters. I just like growing them, but they take so long, and they take up one of our raised beds. And I'm just like, gosh, these carrots need to hurry up.
Well, the kids don't just love to just like dig them up and rinse them off and eat them. So what I typically do is dig all of them up, clean them very well, and I actually have a Norwex rag that I love because it's got built-in woven steel in it, and that way I can just take that rag and run it up and down instead of having to use a peeler or a knife or whatever to get that outside skin off.
That's really good.
I'll just take that Norwex rag and rub it down and get that off, and then I cut them up into little circles, put them in the freezer, and we love to put them in soups, vegetable soups, and stuff like that. Add them in things like that.
All right, so rhubarb does not grow good here, not being a cold climate. I don't know anyone that grows rhubarb around here. Naked Gardener says, favorite thing to grow and raise on the farm. I'm going to let you go first.
Favorite thing to grow? I would probably say an annual is probably peas because they're so easy.
What kind of peas? What would be your favorite?
I like them all. They're all kind of easy. With peas, you just put them in the ground, water them when they need it. I mean, they're just so easy to me. They're very, very little maintenance. And I think that's why I like them.
If I'm talking gardening only, I like Cherokee purple tomatoes. But if I'm saying the best thing to grow in the garden, I like the dairy cattle for milk and pigs. So that would be my favorite thing. If I'm growing, I'm talking about full on growing on my farm, no doubt. Pink Up Purple Hull does really good here, and we grow a lot of them. Yep. Sugar Snap peas, we like Sugar Snap peas too. Last year we grew
with my tomatoes.
We grew a lot of edamame, our soybeans last year, and they grew really good here. This year we grew a monster patch, and they're looking really good.
Really excited. So if Hattie Mae can just keep the deer,
we're gonna get so sick of picking edamame.
Lord willing, and he continues to bless the patch. It looks really good. I'm really excited about it.
Our soybeans are looking good.
Last year we planted a few rows, and then a deer or some animal,
I don't know what it was.
Ate a good bit of them down, and we were really bummed about that. Some of them did come back, but then we didn't get nearly the harvest that we could have because by the time they got like a foot or two high.
Ooh, kids are the favorite thing to raise. That was a good homestead homeschool answer.
That was good.
So I don't know if she'd say that right now. She might say that closer to the bit or something.
When I'm like,
Rehab Life. So what? Okay, so soybeans are several purposes for us. First and foremost, the big soybean patch is mostly to say we're going to eat some, but if we see that feed for animals is going to keep going like it's trending in the world, that becomes food for the animals. However, we love eating steamed soybeans, which are edamame, and that is one of the healthiest greens and legumes that you can eat. Also,
and the kids absolutely
love them.
It's kind of like the strawberry patch.
Yeah.
It's like you can almost hardly get them in, and they're like ready to eat them. I have some that are like, I don't like those kind of peas, or I don't like those kind of beans, but everybody loves the soybean.
But not only that, it also adds so much back to the soil. So we'll use that patch where that nitrogen is going in.
There's just nothing negative about them, in my opinion. And they're another thing, as long as you can keep the critters out of your garden, they're just really easy.
Yeah. Norwex, we know some local Norwex people, but it's a multi-level marketing thing. I hate to say that. I don't want to sound like it's a scheme, but you can usually pick them up.
I really like their products though.
In your area.
Their bath Their bath rags I really like, and I really like their vegetable and fruit cleaning one that I was telling y'all about. That's got the steel pieces in it. It just makes cleaning fruit and vegetables so easy.
Sue, I agree with you too. I love asparagus, and you cannot find the quality asparagus that you truly grow. It is a slow process, but it is phenomenal.
3 years, y'all.
At least.
But it is worth it because
Luana.
once you get them established, then you have asparagus
You're good to go
for many, many, many years.
Right.
I've read some articles that says even up to 20 and 25 years, the asparagus plants will just continue to produce. And that's amazing. Like, that's what I want. I want things like asparagus, blueberries, strawberries, our plum trees, things that are going to give us food items for years and years to come.
Rehab life, that is correct. Corn is a grass, and it sucks the nitrogen out of the soil. It's a big nitrogen puller. Soybeans help put it right back in because it's a legume. That is a very common thing for cash crops, is to rotate those.
Yeah. So the cool thing about where we have ours, and if y'all paid any attention to our videos, y'all seen that we let our pigs go in and till up a spot, and we planted corn on one side and soybeans on the other side. When we get done with those, we will tarp those, let it rest for a season, and next year we'll swap them.
That's right. That's right. So corn's coming up really good too. I can't complain, especially all the rain. I had to double plant once. They can go on
for generations. So yes, they can. So asparagus is something really cool that I started from seed, and if I can do it and do it for 3 years, and they have been abandoned several times in those 3 years, then you can do it too. They actually went through
Lindsay,
a lot of cold. They're very cold tolerant. Well, I say that I'm talking from South Mississippi.
Yeah. They're cold tolerant for zone 8B.
Well, I know that if y'all are familiar with Justin Rhodes, they also have an asparagus bed, and this is like maybe their first or second year with them. Second year with them, Harley. I can't remember. But they're way north of us, and I think as long as you cut them back and you mulch them really well through the winter, I think you'll be fine. Even way on up there. Now, I don't know about Canada and Alaska and places like that.
Donna said, yeah, it's growing everywhere here in Minnesota.
Very good. There you go.
Same with garlic bulbs. Yeah, so
all the way down here to the deep south. They're great.
Lena, we actually harvested 2 or 3 of our big elephant garlic, which is plenty for us because we grind ours up anyway and all that. But we actually let 2. They're actually making scapes now, and we'll let them go to seed.
There is seed head on the top of it. I saw it today. It opened up.
Oh, really cool.
I grew asparagus in New Hampshire, -40. Holy moly! Yeah, so you see that it's
very good, Grammy Karen.
It's very, very hardy. They're very, very hardy, which I think is great.
Yes, Misty is on summer break. That's why she's in a lot better spirits this week.
But I get up and it's like I've been so busy trying to. We had like 2 days where we just went through spring cleaning, reorganizing, and I'm still not completely done. Several days. So yeah, but I've still been super busy. And then we're like hatching like crazy right now. I had 2 more turkeys to hatch this morning. So yeah. Even though we're done with school, there's always other things to do.
I agree. Rehab life. This year, I was kind of glad to see some heat starting to come, because we had some cool weather for us. So I'm glad it's kind of over. We had like snow, and that's not like that. We don't have that. It's
very uncommon. So. Misty complaining about cold winters is like Santa complaining about the hot summers. Oh,
our asparagus patch is over 100 years old. That's so cool, Pathways.
Wow. That's really cool. I know that, okay, here's my story about the asparagus seeds. Our asparagus put off little red like berries, and apparently the seeds are in there. Ellie, I really wish you would quit styling my hair. They put off these little red berries that have seeds. So I waited till they died, got those berries off and collected those seeds and planted them this year. And about 2 weeks after I put them in the greenhouse, my little kitty cat decided to chase something in the greenhouse and knocked off my asparagus, knocked off my cilantro. So I had a ton of cilantro planted, several deals planted, and there was one more thing in that pot, and in that long tray. He knocked them all off, so I don't know that
they're gonna do well.
If they were gonna do or not, because Spike knocked all of my stuff off. He must have been chasing a lizard. Crazy cat.
That's the name of our cat.
Spike, yeah. He's not a. He is a true barn cat.
He's not.
He will let us pet him when he's really hungry.
When he wants food or when I'm grilling, he'll come rub on my leg like he wants to. Like, hey, will you drop a piece of pork chop for me? But we usually don't, so he don't like it too much.
Misty, I think your little girl is bored. Harley, show him what you're doing. I would be bored too.
Knitting or
crocheting.
They've been at Cousin Day today, and they go to Cousin Day with Colby's mom, and his older sister has 4 kids, and his little sister has 2 kids, and they went to Cousin Day today, and the older one's other grandmother has taught them how to knit and crochet, so they brought all their things today, and it rubbed off on my girls. Unfortunately, I really don't know how to do that, so they have been learning today things that you don't learn in school, which is great. I'm glad. I think that's great. It's a dying skill, so I'm very excited about it. I tried one time and I slaughtered it.
Yeah, so like for instance, what you're saying, rehab life, we were talking about cold and hot, dry versus cold and hot, humid. Our winters are wet, and our summers. I mean, you can walk outside and you're already sweating before you even really do anything. It's kind of miserable sometimes. But
Lena said, "Big rocks in your pots." So these were seed trays. I had started my seeds in my seed trays, and him running across the shelf just knocked my seed trays off. And he must have been chasing a nice lizard, because it was like one of the really big seed trays that he knocked off. But anyway,
we'll have to show you some pictures of the garden too. The garden's starting to look really good.
We talked a lot about all of that, and the whole point of it was starting on hugelculture, doing the flower beds, flowers. So I did these flower
30
pots.
minutes later.
Flower pots, and I took a bunch of sticks up like this tall of just like sticks. I put my soil on there and planted my flowers on top. So that's a style of hugelculture. There's a bunch of different types of style, but that's one of the styles. And we did a lot of that in our beds where the potatoes are that we were just talking about.
I don't think you ever really get used to the humidity. Missy, my squash plants are doing much better, and they all look green. I think it was too much shade, like you said. Thank you.
Good, very good.
Yeah, what I've learned about a lot of our spring and summer gardens is when you're in wet areas or you simply have trees shading, they're meant to be summer plants in summer, so they tend to do good in full sun.
From sun up to sundown.
To lettuces and things like that. Big Dave, thank you for coming on. Man, I'm so sorry about your sister passing away.
Guys,
praying
that's
for y'all.
Terrible.
Goodness gracious.
Halfway home. Be praying for y'all.
Always miss your live. Enjoy the replays, though. Thank you for watching. We give you permission to watch the whole replay.
And we love to hear from y'all. There's a viewer, and she sends me messages. She was actually just recently diagnosed with cancer, and she is one that we have had on our prayer list for some time now. And she's going through different type treatments and stuff. So we always take those type prayer requests very seriously. So.
We were missing you first thing, Big Dave. So thank you for coming on. But again, praying for you and your family shall walk through that.
Absolutely.
For sure. Well, I think that's about it. Is that all we had to talk about?
I think so. Just trying to keep those critters and big critters and little critters out of from eating our food.
Thanks again to our mods, Grammy Karen, North Star Prepstetter. Y'all rock.
Yes, y'all do.
y'all make us look so bad when we're mods with y'all on other channels because we're not nearly as good as y'all. So, hey, keep up with the videos. This week we have another little pig video coming up, and then we also have a video of something that's kind of happened through a storm that wasn't as bad as some of the ones we had, but a very unique situation. We've talked a little bit about it tonight. You'll be able to see that in the next few videos. And
it's one of those things you're gonna go, wow.
Well, yeah, that's kind of crazy. But then again, you'll see some of the garden. The garden is looking phenomenal where the peas are planted. We'll talk about the corn. We'll talk about the soybeans. So you'll see a lot of that coming up.
And I cannot rave enough on how much I love mulch pathways in the garden, because after it rains like it has, and you get ready to go out and pick
in sandals if you want.
Yes, it's not like flopping in the mud. So it's work sometimes to get that out there, but I really have to say I really enjoy those mulch walkways because it just makes life so much easier.
And then also, we'll talk a little bit about some of the fertilization we've been using in the garden, because it's been a little different. It's been slow this year because we've had so much rain, I think. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So I think that's about all the videos I know that we have coming up. You'll see Bohannon, the rental bull.
Thank you so much, Miss Sue.
We'll be taking the rental bull up to the big farm in about 2 weeks. So we're gonna give him another 2 weeks here.
We're gonna have to bring him back here to let him finish out his duty, because
well, when you first got here, we didn't talk about this. We never talked about this in the video. When we first got here, before we got him, he stepped in a hole at the original owner's house, and they knew it. And he had a little limp to him. If you watch the very first video of us getting him, he had a little limp when the girls were kind of chasing him around. All it was he just stepped in a hole. We kind of kept a good eye on him.
Yeah, but we didn't realize it initially.
Yeah, we didn't realize it at all. But now he's kind of back to his normal self, so I'm hoping he gets his mind on the ladies. So hopefully he'll walk to the ladies. So.
Well, and too, what I was going to say is Petey nursing off our other mama cow might really slow her down.
Yeah.
And she's well past that 45-day range of, it's 45 days is kind of where you need to wait before they start rebreeding, and she's well past that. So I'm hoping that that extra cow milking off of mama. Long story about why Petey is back in the pen with them. Long story. But he is still nursing off her. So I think that might slow her down a little bit of
we'll kind of see what's going to happen.
Rebreeding. So we'll see.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for coming on. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. Prayers for all the ones that we talked about tonight. Thank you for the super chats for the ones who gave it. And again, you'll see some great videos coming up. Idaho Hoosier, thank you for coming on. We hope you watch our replay because we're supposed to get off anyway. But thank you again. Please check out these other YouTubers that's on here. Check out their videos because, again, everybody is wanting to support everybody because we're a great community trying to do the right thing and raising sustainable agriculture and farming.
Good night, y'all.
God bless.
Happy homesteading. I knew she was going to try to beat me.
The little one, where's Selah?
She must be asleep.
We told her just real quick. We said, okay, we're going to do our live, and then y'all come on and say happy homesteading, y'all. She was upset if we were not going to let her do that, and all of a sudden now she's asleep.
Cousin Day wore her out, y'all.
Wore her out.
Happy
Good night,
homesteading,
guys.
y'all.
Happy homesteading, y'all.